I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC undisputed light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira says Khamzat Chimaev simply trying to run behind the hype with the recent call out. UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira is not taking Khamzat Chimaev's call out too seriously. Khamzat Chimaev, who is 7-0 in the UFC, issued a quote challenge to Pereira, who is 6-1 in the UFC. Pereira finished Yuri Pauska to claim the vacant UFC light heavyweight championship at UFC 295. Pereira called out Israel Adesanya for a trilogy fight, but is expected to make his first title defense against ex-champion Jamal Hill. I call cap on that because Jamal Hill is going to be injured for a while. Undefeated, Khamzat Chimaev is coming off of a close majority decision victory over former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman in the middleweight bout at UFC 294. Alex Pereira responded to Khamzat Chimaev's call out saying Khamzat Chimaev had the chance in the past when Pereira expressed interest in fighting Khamzat Chimaev. So actually, everything started after the Israel Adesanya fight when I became the middleweight champion. Pereira said on his YouTube channel, go and subscribe to Alex Pereira's YouTube channel and hit the thumbs up button. It was a war with Adesanya. I was injured after... I'm just going to have to stop this right here. This is a fact. What he's saying right here is 100% true. Let's start from the beginning. So actually, everything started after the Israel Adesanya fight when I became the middleweight champion, as Alex Pereira said on his YouTube channel. It was a war with Adesanya. I was injured after the fact, and Chimaev directly called me out, wanted to fight against me, take my belt, and whatever. I said, okay, that's fine. Let's fight at light heavyweight. This is so true. This is 1,000% true. Khamzat Chimaev, now this part I'm not going to get into, but Khamzat Chimaev denied it. He didn't want to fight me at light heavyweight, and afterwards, now I'm the champ at light heavyweight, and now he calls me out at light heavyweight. So this only shows that these types of fighters are trying to run behind the hype and the fame of champions, and it doesn't make sense. Now I have to do what? Call him out at heavyweight or what? So it doesn't make sense to me. Pereira took a dig at Khamzat Chimaev's recent opposition in a social media post. Obviously, I can't play the post, or my channel will be demonetized and scratched from the internet. This is a very, very quick article, but this paragraph right here, actually everything started after Israel Adesanya fight. That's basically where we want to stay with this article. I am an MMA casual, so I don't follow everything in this sport. I can't remember everything, but I do remember last year after Alex Pereira defeated Israel Adesanya. I remember it was around this time in December where Chimaev was like, hey, I want to fight Pereira. And Pereira very specifically said, like, listen, I'm the middleweight champion, right? I do not want to cut weight after a 5-round war with Israel Adesanya, so let's fight in a light heavyweight division. And he was the middleweight champion at that time. And Khamzat Chimaev was still in the welterweight division. And I kind of agreed with both of them at that point, right? Because Pereira being the middleweight champion, Khamzat Chimaev is like, why am I going to fight the middleweight champion at light heavyweight? That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to say I have nothing to gain, but if I'm going to fight him, I'm going to fight him for his belt. But I agreed with Pereira, who just went through a 5-round fight with Israel Adesanya, right, a month before. This was last year, December. This was a month after he defeated Israel Adesanya, where Pereira was like, listen, I'm not going to cut weight a month after I just defeated Israel Adesanya to fight Khamzat Chimaev in the middleweight division. If you want to have a fight with me, let's fight in a light heavyweight division. And Chimaev declined that fight, right? We have to say for the most part that fight never happened. But I do remember that point. At that point, I agreed with both of them. I agreed with Chimaev saying, like, listen, if I'm going to fight middleweight champion. I'm not going to fight him in the light heavyweight division. That doesn't make sense. And I agree with Pereira saying, like, listen, even though I'm the middleweight champion, I just fought a month ago. I'm not going to cut back down weight to fight in January, right? I think he was calling him out for the Rio de Janeiro fight in January. Chimaev was calling out Pereira, and Pereira was like, listen, I'll fight you, right? But I'm not going to cut weight to go back down to the middleweight division a month after I just became champion. It doesn't make sense. If you want to take the fight, I'll fight you in the light heavyweight division, right? So I agreed with both of them at that point. Now I totally agree with Pereira, who's saying, like, listen, hold on. Last year when I called you out for a light heavyweight fight, like literally I called you out for a light heavyweight fight. I accepted it. The fight never happened. Now I'm the light heavyweight champion. Now you want to fight me at light heavyweight? It's a little bit, it's a little bit much. It's a little bit clout chasing there. We'll have to see what's going on with Khamzat Chimaev. I believe after his fight with Kamaru Usman, he said he had a broken hand. I think it came out he had a torn ligament in his hand. So he's going to be out for God knows how long. Khamzat Chimaev is going to be out. And Dricus du Plessis will be fighting Sean Strickland for the UFC middleweight championship. I don't know if Khamzat Chimaev is still the number one contender on some Bilal Muhammad stuff because he's ranked number 9 in the UFC in UFC middleweight division. So, like I said, I'm an MMA casual. I don't remember too many fighters ranked number 9, number 10, number 11 being given a title shot. So we have to see if Dricus du Plessis wins, does he fight Khamzat Chimaev? If Sean Strickland wins, does he fight Khamzat Chimaev? Would the UFC give Khamzat Chimaev the light heavyweight championship fight versus Alex Pereira? What's going on with Jamar Hill? I believe he had a torn Achilles. I think he was playing basketball or something like that. But that was like a few months ago, so I don't know how long Jamar Hill is going to be out for. There's a lot of injuries. And then you also have Pereira, who, when he won the light heavyweight championship, this is so much drama. This is so ridiculous. When Pereira won the light heavyweight championship, he called out a middleweight. So Pereira called out Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya says he's retired until 2027. I don't know what's going on there. There's so much up in the air. There's a lot that's, going to happen in the next few weeks. We'll see. A lot of fighters don't have fights at the moment. I don't think anyone in the middleweight division, a lot of middleweights, card is free at the moment. What happens with Chimaev? Is he still the number one contender in the middleweight division? I really doubt the UFC would give Chimaev a light heavyweight title shot. But right now, who else would Alex Pereira fight if it's not going to be Jamar Hill for a while? So I personally don't see the UFC giving Chimaev the light heavyweight title shot. But right now, the UFC 300 card is looking a little bit open. If you look at, the fights that they could make at UFC 300, you have basically Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champion, who's free. Who else do you have? The middleweight championship, that's in January. You have the bantamweight title going on the line. You have featherweight title going on the line. Heavyweight championship, not Jamal Hill, John Jones is injured, so you have Tom Aspinall. Maybe he fights at UFC 300, right? Maybe he defends the interim title. But yeah, there's just a lot going on. Who knows what's going to happen at UFC 300? I would say it's not out of the question, right? It sounds kind of crazy, it does, but it's not out of the question for UFC 300 to have a Alex Pereira fight. And the question is, will it be versus a light heavyweight, or will it be versus a Chimaev or Israel Adesanya? I have no idea. I'm an MMA casual, so I have no idea. But this is a fun read right here, because like I said, I do remember this conversation last year when Chimaev and Pereira were going back and forth. But let me know your opinion of this story. Basically, I don't even know if I should ask, who do you think will win? Because, we're talking about Chimaev going all the way up to the light heavyweight division. And, when Chimaev fought Kamaru Usman, who is a welterweight in the middleweight division, it was only a majority decision victory. So just let me know, what do you think of this story? Do you think it's just a fun story to talk about, right? It's fun MMA matchmaking for Chimaev to go out there and say, let me finish Alex Pereira. Like I said, I'm an MMA casual, so I don't think it's out of the question, but right now it's probably like a 5 to 10% chance of happening. Let me know your opinion of this story. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about UFC undisputed light heavyweight champion. Alex Pereira says Khamzat Chimaev is simply trying to run behind the hype with his recent call out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.